There's a moment. It happens every day. After the sun goes down and there's no light left. When you look yourself in the mirror, you look yourself in the eye and you ask, could I have given more? Could I have worked harder today? I know they say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, I don't buy that. I think if you love what you do, you're gonna work all day, every day, harder than everyone else, until they shut the light off on you. Because it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be convenient. Because you know that okay is not okay. And good enough, doggone it, isn't good enough. Good is a four-letter word when you're reaching for more. When you're working for greatness. Working for that cat next to you. Working for all those around you. And working to make sure that when you look in the mirror, you are proud of who is staring back at you.
The lights are on. The crowd is stirring. We look down at now.
And right now, it's time to work.
3, 2, 1. And it is one.
Welcome to the war room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander.
How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th or the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, sports fans, football fans in particular? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the WRS Podcast Network for our 6th annual NFL Opening Night Kickoff Special. It's also the 5th anniversary of the very first episode of the podcast, as the very first show aired on September 9th, 2010. Also on NFL Opening Night, I'm Devin McMillan. I'm at the round table with the Generals. We got Jimmy the Blueprint Williams and the Bull B. Austin. Tonight, we're going to preview the NFL season and lead you right up to kickoff with picks, predictions, analysis, and lots of entertainment, including some college football with Fred Purdue. So keep it locked right here. And to get in on the live conversation, join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 40 minutes to give your Super Bowl pick when we open up the Digital Extreme hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But before we get started, just like we do every week, we need to remind you people to make the War Room Sports Podcast Network a part of your daily routine. When we're not live on the air, make sure you visit warroomsports.com, click on the WRS Podcast Network tab at the top of the page, or listen on the War Room Sports mobile app or on iTunes. You'll find some of the best shows the web has to offer, sports and non-sports, and you can listen to archive episodes of our show, War Room, The Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris, the Tish and the Tape Hip Hop Show, Phil and Survive, After Further Review with the Mayor, and a whole lot more. We also want to give a congratulatory shout-out to our network mate, Nick Ficarelli of the Mad Scientist Sports Lab, for being voted the 2015 What a Fan Podcast of the Year. Salute to Nick and everybody over there at the Mad Scientist Sports Lab. You can also check the listings for the network over at fatsradio.com for syndicated airtimes of all your favorite WRSP and sports shows, including the War Room, which airs over there a few times per week. Jimmy, B, what's going on, man? Football is back. What's good?
Man, listen, man. to make it easy, just put it like this: football is just better than everything else. From an entertainment standpoint, there's nothing better. Like about a week ago, I just wasn't in the mood for football. I didn't care. But as like the preseason wind down, a couple fantasy drafts, hard knocks, and just like the overall talk, and knowing that it's getting ready to start is like, yo, I'm fired up right now. I need the season to start. I need to see some concussions. I need to see some touchdowns. I need to see it all, man. Like, I'm just excited, man.
Right back in the mix. Yeah, it's easy to get excited for football season. And I'm with you. We do this for a living, so it's like having to pay attention to the preseason, a little more than you would if you were just a casual fan. That's part of the grind, but there's nothing like, when they kick that ball off and the games actually count. This is what football fans, sports fans have been waiting for, like for the past few months. Football, like the NFL keeps itself in the news cycle regardless of what's happening or regardless of what's not happening. But at the same time, the action is what's really king. So that's what people have definitely been waiting for. So, we're going to get this show on the road like we always do about this time. And I'm going to let everybody know what happened this week while they were on the grind. And as usual, On the Grind is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website, WarRoomSports.com, click on the DirecTV logo, and order yourself a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. If you call yourself a sports fan, if you call yourself a football fan, since they got that exclusive deal with the NFL, then you got to have DirecTV. You got a few days to go get it, people. You better go get it. All right, man. Let's go right into the NFL, man. Tyrod Taylor, we spoke about him last week. He earned the starting job as the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. There was a story that came out earlier in the week that said Tyrod Taylor had gotten in touch with Michael Wright, who's described as the dentist to the stars, about creating himself a diamond-studded mouthpiece, since he got his first starting job in the NFL. Come on, man. Jimmy, what do you think about the diamond-studded mouthpiece that he allegedly solicited from the doc, from the good doc?
It's so wasteful. It's so wasteful. It's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's just out of control, man. I mean, it's a mouthpiece, for Christ's sakes. Like, why are you putting ice on your mouthpiece? Like, you need to be that ostentatious to put ice on your mouthpiece? Now, I know he denied it. I don't believe him. Here's my thing, right? This may be a false story. It may be nothing. But here's why I don't believe that. If you're going to pick a quarterback to lie about, why on God's green earth would you pick Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah, the newest one in the league who's probably making the least of all 32.
I don't even say Cam Newton. Like, Cam Newton said this. Like, if I'm going to lie, if I'm just going to flat out lie about it, I would have used somebody better than Tyrod Taylor. But, Tyrod, for you to say that, man, like, you definitely got to be lying.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying? Oh, my God. Stop fucking lying.
Yo. He definitely denied the alleged account. His family went so far as to say that they were offended by the report that he was going to wear a diamond-studded mouthpiece.
So was I.
Yeah, exactly. But he's going to make his first career start when they host the Indianapolis Colts this weekend. So I don't know Taylor. Since he hasn't been a starting quarterback in the league, he doesn't get much publicity. So I don't know where he is personality-wise, and if this is something that someone close to him, besides his family, of course, would say, "Oh yeah, that sounds like Tyrod." He get his one shot of shine, and he goes and does something like this. So we don't know. I mean, allegedly it was supposed to have magnets on it and everything, I guess, so when he took it out of his mouth, he could stick it on his face mask, because the stuff under the inner workings of the face mask, I believe, made them metal, if they're still making them like they used to. But yeah, that's a crazy story. Yeah, I mean, if it's true, I don't want to go all out on dude if it's not actually true, but who knows, man. But speaking of another Virginia Tech quarterback or former Virginia Tech quarterback, Mike Vick is back in the news. We know ever since he signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the people of Pittsburgh have kind of been up in arms. They had the petition going where they had thousands and thousands of signatures to try to get him off of the team. The latest thing is Animal Rescue League. They had an event planned in October at Heinz Field, but they pulled the event from Heinz Field because it doesn't want to have any connection to Mike Vick. Of course, because of the whole dog fighting thing. And I believe this was some kind of a dog expo that they were having at Heinz Field. Like, what do you guys think of this, man? Are people going too far with this at this point? Like, Is this something that should just be kicked to the curb and not forgotten about, but are people just going too far?
Yeah, I mean, I know a part of what we do is make everyone angry. So the black people that expect to hear us support black folks no matter what, ratchetry and ignorance is going on, disappoint, and we get you irate. But in this case, got to stand up for Michael Vick, man. This is a manifestation of racism, a manifestation of ethnocentrism, and also just the general nature of judgmental society. So I think it's a confluence of those three elements that lead to the condemnation of Michael Vick. That's what it is, because this man has paid his debt to society, and while we know there will always be a segment of the population that won't like him, Mike Vick has gone out of his way to be a model citizen at every turn. And I think it's genuine. I think it's sincere. I don't know him personally, so he could be fronting and fraud, just getting away with it. But I think he's sincere, genuine. He helps you. He's an animal rights advocate now. This is what he did.
I hate that phrase. Paid their debt to society.
Yeah. Of course, cliche, and it's not really right. But you
did your time.
The level of anger and ire that he receives from the demographic of this population, which I've talked to black folks, I've talked to white folks in this country, and invariably, it's almost always unanimously white folks that have a serious problem. Now, these white people happen to be dog lovers, but I talk to black dog lovers, and it's like, okay, I think what he did was terrible, but I'm over it. Dude's moved on. So how long is this going to last? How long is this going to stay? How long is it going to, Mike Vick is the face of animal cruelty, and the only thing I can come up with is racism, ethnocentrism, and sensational judgment. That's what it is, man.
I'm going to take a whole different approach. I do agree with V. Austin a little bit. I think there is a little hint of racism involved, but I also know that some people I've spoken with on my side who are dog lovers, doesn't matter what he does from this point on. It's sort of like they have their movement, and he became the face of evil within that movement, and they're going to go after him forever, right? So I'm not saying that's right. Now, the thing about it is I had a problem when the fans were trying to get him to lose his job. That's one thing. Like, I never try to stop a man from putting food on his family, especially when he, quote, unquote, paid his debt to society. But this whole thing with them pulling out, I don't really have a problem with it. My thing is, because I consider myself a somewhat, I'm not going to say all the time, but a somewhat conscious consumer. So I'm going to spend money with somebody. I want them to share my principles and morals, even though I really have none. But I do got principles, but morals, that's a whole different discussion. But so being someone who spends their money somewhat consciously, I could understand that part of it. When you were trying to get him not to be able to work to take care of his family, I had a problem with that. But just pulling out from having an event at the arena because they support someone against what you believe, I don't even see a problem with that. I mean, I just really don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm also a person that, you know, believes that there are a lot of organizations and groups that I disagree with them vehemently, but I understand their right to do what it is they want to do. I just don't have to spend money with them in their communities or with their people. And I'm about to get a lot deeper with this than I really have to. But the bottom line is I don't see as much a problem with this as I did with them trying to get him to lose his job.
Right, and I always have a problem with that too, Jimmy. And, you know, we always talk about that kind of stuff, even when it's something that I don't agree with. When somebody comes out and says something racist towards black people, I don't really see that as means to lose your job. I mean, we know that people are racist. So if everybody in the world who was racist, or everybody in the country who was racist, were to lose their jobs, then the unemployment rate will be like even way more off the chain than it already is.
My thing is this. It's like let the market take care of it, because if someone comes out flat out and acts as though they're racist, right, and we stop supporting whatever it is they do with their product, they'll be going anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, this is capitalism. So let's use Paula Deen for example. You know, she's been racist for decades. So let's just say, you know, if she made that statement and we stop supporting her. Now the thing is, you have someone who will make a racist statement and get tons of support. So that also shows you where certain people or segments of our population are. Yeah,
I feel you, Jimmy, and I agree. In a vacuum, this particular instance, sure, they have a right to pull out. But I think it's indicative of what's going on in that Pittsburgh community. Like, it's a larger scope. This is just one instance. Since he got there, since they heard he might be signed, it's been open season. So this is just
like I said, I had a problem with him trying to get him to lose his job. But if I'm looking at just this incident, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to knock them for this, but I will knock them for trying to, like, you know, stop that man from, like, you know, taking care of his family. I have a problem with that. But if you don't want to spend money with the organization, that's cool. Now, if someone say eventually that's going to have an effect on him. Eventually it may, but also if they start putting W's on the board and he's a part of it, let's see how fast they turn, specifically in Pittsburgh, because they was a diehard football fan. If they start winning,
the same thing in Philly. It was the same thing in Philly. When he came to Philly, people had problems with it. People were, you know, expressing themselves publicly. And, you know, as soon as they got into a season where they won like 10 games with Mike Vick at the helm, everybody forgot about all the problems.
I mean, listen, man, that's how it works. When you have talent, and I don't even know if he still has that talent or ever had that talent, but when you have talent and you're able to do things, man, we'll look past, like, you know, some of the things you do, man. Like, you know, shout out to R. Kelly. But I'm just saying, when you have talent, a lot of times we'll look past, you know, your faults. Shout out to Chris Brown.
Yeah, so LeBron is back in the news for positive things. I mean, we spoke about LeBron recently and his little program to give kids from Akron scholarships to the University of Akron in his I Promise program. Great now, in conjunction with Project Learn of Summit County, he announced last week that the parents of the children enrolled in the LeBron James Family Foundation will receive financial aid towards completing their GEDs. So it's like LeBron and his team, everything they're doing right now is stemming around education. You know, I praised him before because this is a cat who never went to college and everyone looks up to him. So the message that they could get from his life and his success could easily be education doesn't matter. But he's giving them another message. You know, everybody can't be LeBron James. Everybody doesn't have all-world basketball talent like LeBron James. So he's stressing to the public. Yeah, he's stressing to the public that education is indeed important. So, you know, kudos to him again, you know, for the whole kids going to college thing, and now he's helping their parents get GEDs just so they can have, you know, better households around. You know, get your education.
I know that B. Austin hates LeBron, right? And that's cool because you saying you don't hate LeBron.
I don't hate the young brother.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God! Stop fucking lying.
All right, well, forget about that. Let's just say this, right? you can separate what he does on the court from what he does off the court. Because off the court, LeBron is like really building a legacy for himself. He's obviously the best player in basketball, right? So, I mean, I would say he's the best player in basketball.
He's more socially conscious than MJ.
He's more socially conscious than a lot of people. A lot. I mean, I would say that as well. Absolutely. Than a lot of people. I mean, when you really sit back and think about it,
the Grandmaster of the Clan more socially conscious than MJ.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, Donald Trump is more socially conscious than MJ, but Sarah Palin is more. Anyway, but my point is, like, there really hasn't been. I mean, the other guy, especially at his level, there have been socially conscious guys in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like a Craig Hodges or what's my man that played for the Wizards?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
What about? I'm talking about more recently.
No, you're talking about other cats, more recent, who really didn't have the same kind of power. Etan Thomas.
Exactly, like Etan Thomas. Yeah, but even Kareem
so
was
we
aloof.
might have
Kareem was more of an intellectual. He was aloof, but we never had someone who was at this level. He's the most marketable athlete in the world. Who is doing all the right things. It's hard to like knock him, you know what I mean? But we try to separate the person from the athlete because we still will criticize you when you F up on the court. But I mean, he's doing all the right things, man. There's nothing I could really say negative about this, man, because like Dev said, he's letting people know that education is important, even for a guy that was like naturally gifted enough to go straight to the NBA. So kudos to LeBron, man.
His message could be totally different, no matter who's crafting it. His message could be totally different, like. But no, he and his team aren't afraid to step out there, and that's why we haven't had, many people doing some of the stuff that he does because, everything is about your brand. I mean, in this type of thing, I don't see how it could hurt your brand anyway, but so I'm not really going to put this on the same plane as activism, but, this is definitely a measure of social consciousness because he's sending a message that if he wouldn't open his mouth about it, people could just assume a totally different message from him just because of the path that he took. So, shout out to him. All right, so that's LeBron helping out Akron again. He does love his city, no matter, what everything else is about, and the fact that he bounced out on him a couple years ago. He does love his city. Lawrence Phillips. It seems like all our grind topics are things that are extensions of things that we talked about before. We talked about back in April how Lawrence Phillips was a suspect in the murder of his cellmate. Last week we talked about how Lawrence Phillips has finally gotten charged in the murder of his cellmate. This week we're talking about the fact that they did basically a rape kit on this guy because
he fleeced him.
Somehow, some way, they felt that a sexual assault may have gone down as a part of this. So what do you guys think of that whole thing? Sexual assault maybe being a part of the mix.
I just want to say that, I love sports so much and I love War Room Sports and I enjoy it. And we love to talk about every topic out there. But I can honestly say that Lawrence Phillips and Aaron Hernandez are two gentlemen, like, there's only so much, I can't find any humor. And I can't find, like, this just makes my skin crawl. Like, I don't know what they letting Felice Johnson out in a couple weeks. That's all I got.
Well, let me tell you this, though. I mean, there was an update to the story, and the county DA's office says that he's not been charged with sexual assault, and there's no pending sexual assault case against him. So I don't know if it's something that they're covering up, not telling us, or that the rape kit basically came back with no evidence of sexual assault. But there was indeed a rape kit, present in this whole case. So what they found or what they didn't find may have had some bearing on that update. Jimmy, you got any thoughts on this dude, man? I know you business last week.
Yeah, he's a disgusting human being that should be eradicated. He should be gone. Like, mental health is real, though. Let me start by saying that, though, because something definitely has to be wrong with this gentleman because, like, the opportunities that he was given on multiple times and his behavior, like, he's just always, like B. Austin said, he's always into something, man. FOH, man. Like, he gets a big FOH. Like, yo, just give him the needle now, and let's make our world a better place.
Yo. All right, so for Lawrence Phillips, as usual, I think the JoJo Award comes into play every time his name is mentioned, let alone us having to, tell you what his latest charge is. And to Tyrod Taylor, if these reports were true and you just backed out of it because of the backlash, both of you guys.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the way you carry yourself.
I think that Lawrence Phillips is like he's like a black man lost Hall of Famer. Like, I don't know who else. I mean, I know B. Austin probably would say Floyd, but I wouldn't put Floyd. I wouldn't even put Floyd on his level. Like, he's a level above Floyd. Like, he's at the top of the pyramid. Aaron Hernandez probably, and maybe Ray Caruth.
Ray Caruth is up there, but I want to point something out when you talk about Floyd, Jimmy. Floyd literally got his cronies and took people into the Nevada desert and told them to dig a hole. So
hold up. So you're saying that Floyd's behavior, no matter how egregious it is on par with Ray Caruth and Lawrence Phillips?
I'm not sure. He told them to go into the desert and dig their own shallow grave. We don't know how many times he's done that or how many people he's had to pay to keep that mouth shut. But the fact that came out should let you know.
I don't know. That may or may not be true. That may or may not be true. He may have watched too many gangster flicks, watched Casino one too many times. But these other dudes, and
despicable.
Yeah, like, Ray Caruth killed his pregnant chick. Like,
Ray Caruth is up there with.
Didn't hit in the trunk. Anyway, let's move on. I'm just saying, those guys are in the Hall of Fame of all time, man. The JoJo Award Hall of Fame. But it's definitely time to get to the birthdays, and they are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available. Just go to digitalextremetech.com and you can see the numerous websites they've already built, which are amazing. Or you can call 267-205-4203. And if you want the hookup, as Master P would say, tell them War Room Sports sent you.
My birthday, yay!
Birthdays. Ben Wallace. Shout out to Ben Wallace for chumping my man QB Meta World Peace because he ain't want no parts of Ben Wallace on that melee. That's the funniest thing of that whole situation.
Ben Wallace, the understated instigator of the whole Malice in the Palace.
Absolutely.
Because he would not stop going after the dude.
Arteta didn't want that off at all. Matt Geiger, who may or may not still be getting paid by the Sixers, turns 46.
I'd say yes on that.
Definitely.
I'd say yes. I think Matt Geiger still gets paid in 2001.
Bob Lanier turned 67. And R.I.P. to Roger Maris, who passed away at 85, but was born on September 10th of 1934. We'd like to give a nice big warm salute to all these folks on their birthdays. Before we move forward and talk about some football, Dev, tell everybody how to get in touch with us.
Cool. And by the way, there's a lot of people out there who still credit Roger Maris with having the best season of all time as far as home runs are concerned. They still count that 61 since all the people who broke that record were part of the steroids era.
Y'all, people like that, y'all just need to stop, man. Y'all can eat 100 camel penises because that's ridiculous, man. Like, anyway, let's go ahead. I'll be here for a while. I'm trying I'm trying to chill, man.
And before we get to Fred Perdue on college football tip, you guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our newsletter. Come to Contact Us tab to send us a message about the company, the show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, or if you want to join our network in any way. For general inquiries, email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the Memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the Blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair and Sport More blog, and click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network, to download our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I mentioned on the go. Right now, you can join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room so you can talk some football with us tonight, just sign up for a free profile real quick on blogtalkradio.com. If you don't want to do that, you can sign into your Facebook or Twitter accounts. While you're at it, follow so you can get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions, reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room. We're taking Super Bowl picks tonight. So if you call in, or if you're in the chat room, or if you're on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere, give us your Super Bowl. Give us the two teams that'll be in the Super Bowl, and then give us your winner. But if you want to call in and do that, dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. And if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. But before we get into all of that NFL talk, we're going to talk to one of our people who was actually on our debut episode of Field Vision for Season 3. You guys can check that out at our YouTube channel. Just go to War Room Sports on YouTube, or you can go to warroomsportstv.com and check out our picks and predictions that we're also going to give later in this show. But we're going to talk to Fred Perdue right now of Ion Sports Podcast, which is also a member of the War Room Sports Podcast Network. We're going to talk to Fred about what's going on in the world of college football. Fred, what's going on, bruh?
Happy football beginnings.
No doubt, it's your three uncles.
I know you happy because your defending champion Patriots get to lead everything off tonight at home in Foxborough, welcoming the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I know you're happy about that. You know what we're here to talk about first. We're here to talk about what's going on in the world of college football. So what's happening, Fred? I mean, I was following your feeds, and I was seeing some stuff that might imply that Ohio State might be the only elite team in the nation right now. What's your thoughts on that?
I had to see it for myself before I actually gave them this label. And I don't like to use that E word too many times. There's very few things I consider elite. Ohio State football is that this year. Virginia Tech they had a pretty good defense. They literally said, we're going to sit here in this old school 4-6 Buddy Ryan defense. And I know you guys, you Eagles guys over there, I know you guys know a little bit about that. So,
46?
Yes, right. If you had any offense with it, we'd be sporting some rings right now.
And the Hokies, they didn't have any offense either. But when you're really willing to say we're going to sit in straight up man-to-man, no safety in the middle of the field, and we're just going to blitz you, and we're going to put all the pressure on the corners, and they hold up for at least 3.5 quarters until the quarterback goes down with a shoulder injury. And they held their own. They actually had a lead at halftime. I was shocked. I thought that game would be over by halftime. I did not expect J.T. Barrett not to start, but I've come to a realization. Urban Meyer likes big quarterbacks. Every quarterback he's ever really started has been, outside of maybe Alex Smith, has been pretty big. He's had Cam Newton before he left from Florida, after he was kicked off the team at Florida. He had Tim Tebow, and now he has Cardale Jones. They've all been 6'3" or better and at least 240 pounds. That says a lot. Yeah, he doesn't fit well in that option game. He's slow and stiff, but he has a rifle for an arm, and he's not going down. So couple that with a running game where you have over 100 yards before you even get to 10 carries. You have Braxton Miller, who's now his version of Percy Harvin. By the way, I still think that Virginia Tech defender is still on spin cycle, by the way. He instantly made a huge impact. Defensively, they did very well without their best defender in Joey Bosa, who had about 13 sacks last year. He's coming back. They don't have anyone on the schedule until Michigan State, which is later in the season. So couple all of that together, this team is the elite team in the Big Ten in college football. Cardale Jones.
So, but what about the point that you made, though? Virginia Tech was in this game until their quarterback got hurt. So, could that mean something? Like, I'm pretty sure Ohio State would have won this game either way, but the final score may not have been indicative of the level of domination or lack thereof if quarterback never went out the game.
I think Ohio State would have pulled away in the end simply for the fact that eventually that defense was going to wear down. 3.5 quarters, and you're not scoring as much. Ohio State's going to have a couple big plays here and there. So either way, it would have been essentially the same. I think I remember saying the score would be 35-7. The score ended up being, if I remember correctly, 42-14, something like that. So I was pretty right there. I kind of figured it would be something around that area. Ohio State, they don't have anyone else to really go up against. No one knows how to match up with this team. If you take away the run, they're going to go pass. If you take away Elliott, they go to Miller. If you take away Miller, they go to Jalen Marshall, who's coming back. If you go,
they got another one. It was 42-24 was the final.
Okay, 42-24. They got a late one. For me, with all the pieces that Ohio State has, they don't have any other real opposition. I don't see anyone else really giving them any competition. And after seeing Michigan State, I want to see a couple more games, but I don't think they can stop them because offensively, you're going to have to score at least 28 points to beat them. That's the magic number right now, 21 to 28 points. You're going to have to score that to beat Ohio State, and not many teams can do that. Right. The verdict is still out on Cardale Jones. I still think he can't read a defense. I still think after a while you keep throwing those deep balls up, somebody's going to come down with one. You can't just keep throwing it up. I'm not a fan. Wouldn't touch him with the undrafted free agent priority call. Wouldn't touch him. But for the college game,
what's going on down there in Texas, man?
What isn't going on down there in Texas? You have the old coach in Mack Brown being fired a couple years ago. Now he resurfaces saying he's not the reason that Texas has been bad. He takes no responsibility. You have Charlie Strong coming over from the University of Florida, going to Louisville. He was the defensive coordinator. He was supposed to be the guy at Florida. He wasn't. He moved on to Louisville. He made big-time success at Louisville, produced Teddy Bridgewater, moved on to Texas. The job may just be a little too big for him. You have a lot of suspensions. You have injuries. You have no quarterback. You have no offensive line. I don't think he believes in the system that he wants. He wants to be a downhill running pro-style offense, but he's conceded to being a spread team because that's what works in Texas. That's the type of players that he gets because that's what high schools are doing now. He's a very rigid coach.
You think this Texas job was a trap job for him?
I don't want to call it a trap job, but I think he's going to be that lame duck coach that we told you so. We told you so. It was a little bit too much, and I don't like to throw the race card out there too much. But there's going to be that. It was already been out there from the beginning. We knew the black coach couldn't get it done. We knew it. That's
he's taking some embarrassing losses since he's been here.
He's taking three blowout losses. He's demoted his offensive coordinator.
You go back to last season.
Dating
48-10 to TCU, 31-7 Arkansas, and this past week 38-3 to Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame isn't even that good to dominate like that. So that's an indictment on Texas. And by the way, they're in Texas. They are the school in Texas. Texas A&M hasn't been just great. I mean, really and truly, outside of 1 year with Johnny Manziel where they won 11 games, they haven't been all that great. So you can't even say, well, what other school in Texas is really dominating? You're still Texas. You still get top talent. Right. Mack Brown washed his hands of you after you fired him, and still yet he had to save face and say, well, they're going to be an okay team. Texas is in trouble. Charlie Strong might be there. He might not be there by the end of the year if things don't. Even if things are turned around, if they don't win it, they're going to have to win 10 straight the rest of the way. They're going to have to win every game the rest of the way. If they get blown out again,
that's the criteria. Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. They can't beat themselves right now. Tyrone Swoops, by the way, is a terrible quarterback. You can't live off of your cousin's name, by the way. I mean, after a while, that rubs off. No one cares anymore.
Especially when your cousin don't play football. Never did. All right, listen.
Exactly.
I know after week 1, the top 25 rankings really don't mean much, if anything at all. But after 1 week, the SEC has 10 teams in the top 25. What do you think that means?
It's more of a shock to me. It's more important to say that every single team in the SEC West is ranked, and every team in the SEC West could easily be playoff teams. Alabama, Texas A&M, LSU, who hasn't even played a game yet. They're living strictly off of name right now. They have a big time game coming up this Saturday, going up against Mississippi State, who almost lost to a non-power team in Southern Miss. This side of the Auburn, we'll even go with Auburn. Offensively, they looked okay, but Jeremy Johnson, who I've been just pumping him up big time, he didn't play well. He's not Cam Newton. If Auburn fans, he's not. He's a pocket passer. He's not a runner. He literally threw the ball into a dude's face mask. When he took off and ran, it was like, I don't know how to be a dual threat quarterback, coach. I only know how to stand back in the pocket.
That's
well,
a good
son,
thing.
Stay in the pocket. Stay there.
All right, well, let's get to them games of the week real quick. Before we get you out of here, we got number 19, Oklahoma, versus number 23, Tennessee. We got in that one.
I don't trust Tennessee. Josh Dobbs, not truly trusting of you. I do like Jalen Hurd. They can run the football, but they have two true freshmen on that defensive line. And Samaje Perine is about to have a field day. Oklahoma close.
Okay. Then we got number 7, Oregon versus number 5, Michigan State.
The verdict is still out on Vernon Adams Jr. He had a decent game, not a great game. That was his first game jitters. We got that out the way against a Eastern Washington team that I did say they would actually impress some people. They put up points. Oregon's gonna have to stop somebody. I don't like picking against Oregon. I hate doing that because every time I do, I'm wrong, and I'm not doing it today. Michigan State, I know Connor Cook and that offense they're gonna put up points, but that defense is not gonna be able to hold down this Oregon spread attack. Vernon Adams Jr. makes his case for maybe being a dark horse Heisman guy. He's gonna make some plays, and that Oregon offense is gonna look very similar to the way it's always been. Oregon, give me 10 points. We'll say 31-21.
All right, and we got number 14, LSU versus number 25, Mississippi State.
This game is close. We still don't know anything about LSU right now because they haven't played a game. They had their first game was canceled, and yet they still have to pay McNeese State. Must be nice. You might want to schedule those type of games because things like that happen. They're fighting over the check still. Mississippi State, they have Dak Prescott, a.k.a. the Black Tim Tebow. If you haven't seen him play, go watch him. You'll say the same thing. They will even wear the same number. I like what I've seen from him. I don't really like what I've seen from the rest of the team. Their defense isn't very good. They don't seem very fast or even they don't. You can't be small and slow or big and just you can't really be either or. You can't be sluggish and big. You can't be slow and weak as a team. LSU, they don't know what they're getting at quarterback. Brandon Harris is still out there, but Leonard Fournette is the guy to watch. I think LSU will win by a field goal late. This is Les Miles we're talking about, so it's a road game. It's hard. It's hard on the road in the SEC, but I think Leonard Fournette will put them over the top. Give me a score of 17-14, and that's a lot of points for LSU right now.
All right. Well, there you have it. Games of the week by Freddie Perdue. Fred, before we get you out of here, let everybody know where they can find you, where they can tweet with you, where they can hear your show, Eye on Sports.
Well, you guys can check me out on Mondays at 6 or 6:30 for the Eye on Sports podcast, featuring my Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat writer co-host Rick Brown. You can also check him out at RickBrown91 on Twitter. You can check that podcast out on the War Room Sports Network. On Twitter, you can check it out at EOS Podcast. Myself, by the way, I'm going to be honest with you. Tonight, I'm falling off the grid, but you can check me out on Twitter at FPurdueSports, and you can always check out my SEC work at about.com/sports.
Yeah, no doubt. Everybody's entitled to go in the fan when their team's playing. You can't give the people what they want all the time. We're fans too. So that's what's up. So we'll wrap to you next week, Fred. We'll see what happened in the world of college football over the weekend, and we'll talk about it next week and whatever else we got coming down the pike at that time. So thanks a lot for your call as usual.
All right,
hey, yo, Fred, remember, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Brady's going to light it up.
All right. That might be
usually do.
Fred Perdue, everybody. Eye on Sports Podcast. Check it out on the WRS Podcast Network at warroomsports.com. Real quick, we're going to talk about a few hot topics before we get into the main portion of the show where we talk about what's going to happen this football season. But before we do that, Jimmy, let everybody know who Hot Topics are brought to them by.
Absolutely. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks. Kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Here's what you got to do. Go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports. That's audibletrial.com/warroomsports. They have this is the most amazing library of audiobooks. You don't have to keep the service, but you can try it for free. Currently, right now, I'm listening to Prophets of the Hood, which is a book by Imani Perry. Dr. Perry is a professor, but it's about actual hip-hop and social consciousness of hip-hop. So that's a pretty good book. Also, I'm reading a book called The Cartel, which is a straight hood novel. So I go back and forth between everything, a lot of great sports books, but you get a free one on us, on War Room Sports. Go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports and, use that link and you can get a free audio book.
All right. So, hot topic. The boxing matches this weekend. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Andre the Beast Berto. Fight that Showtime, frankly, is having trouble keeping away from they're suing a few companies because they plan to live stream the fight while it's going on. They're having some problems selling tickets for this particular fight. And we all know why. I mean, this was kind of a big letdown after the hype of the Manny Pacquiao bout that Floyd Mayweather just had, and that not living up to it. You figure if he's saying, nobody really believes him, but if he's saying this is his last fight, nobody really wanted to see him fight Andre Berto. Before I get you guys' thoughts and predictions on this fight, let me go to the tail of the tape real quick. Floyd Mayweather, 5'8" inches. The Beast, Andre Berto, 5'8.5". Floyd has a 72-inch reach, while Berto has a 70.5-inch reach. Floyd is 38 years old. Berto's 31 years old. They're both orthodox fighters. Floyd, 48 fights, 48 wins, 26 wins by knockout, and 0 losses, 0 draws, and 0 no contests. On the other hand, Berto, 34 fights, 31 wins, 24 wins by knockout, 3 losses, 0 draws, and 0 no contests. Fellas, Floyd's been walking through his opponents fairly easy. Is there any chance whatsoever that Andre Berto scores the upset of his life?
I mean, there's always a puncher's chance.
Unless Floyd bet on himself.
But the problem is,
bet on Berto, right?
You got to hit him, and I don't see how he can hit him. This is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. For one, it goes to show you how mental the sport is, because Berto was that guy. People forget that Berto was that guy. When he got his first loss, his confidence was just shot, and he hasn't been the same since, to be honest with you. But when he was about 24-0 and he was knocking cats out, he was that guy. Like, he was supposed to be the next Floyd. But he had that war. I think it was Victor Ortiz he had the war with. And after that, he just hasn't been the same. That was a great fight. They both knocked each other down a couple of times in that fight. But hasn't been the same since he got that L. So, and in terms of what's going on with the tickets and the pay-per-view, like, this is why I thought when they first announced this, I thought they were going to go the route of putting it on free TV. That was the move. Like, yo, you stuck everybody up for like a beam plus with HG for that last fight, and you come right, and then the fight had the nerve not to be good, like, and then you want to come right back, give us an opponent that no one wanted to see. Like, of course it's going to be this way. And there's another part of this too that people don't like to talk about, the fact that both of these are black fighters. Boxing is always better when the pugilists are two different races. I know people don't like to admit that, but
when we're stirring up racial tensions in the country via
absolutely,
boxing.
Boxing matches are better, and people don't want to say that, but it's the truth. But like, I really have an interest in seeing this. I'm going to watch it, probably because just so I can live tweet and talk about what people are wearing or whatever. But I really don't care. I mean, I'd rather watch a Slim Jesus video than watch Floyd fight this dude Berto. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm documented. We all know how I feel about Funny Mayweather. Andre Berto used to be somewhere close to that dude, and then he had a war with Victor Ortiz. Let me let that sink in. He had a war with Victor Ortiz. My man Mayweather is set to earn $35 million in this fight. Berto will earn 4.8. I mean, Dev, the only way to make this interesting to me is kind of go against what Dame Dash advises, which is, I'm going to be a chatty patty and talk about the other men's pockets. Business-wise, I don't know how much sense this makes, but when you can make a guaranteed $35 million off of a walk in the park, wouldn't you do it? The pay-per-view buys will probably be between $500,000 and $700,000. Floyd is guaranteed. I'm sorry, he's not guaranteed the 35, but he's guaranteed $18 million, and with $500,000 and to $750,000 in pay-per-view buys, that estimates him out at about $35 million. So money team. Go read a book, Floyd.
All right, so for me, another easy win for Floyd. In my mind, another fight that I won't buy, but I'll happily watch it if somebody has the fight and invite me to come see it. But I'll come drink up your food, drink up your drink, eat your food. All right, so moving on to the NBA, because the NBA, we talked about this a while back, and it was a unanimous vote by the Board of Governors that the NBA will now seed playoffs by record only. So there's no more guaranteed top four seeds for winning a division. Because, we've seen teams in the playoffs who may have the sixth best record in their conference, but may get a 4 seed just because they won their division. So there's no more of that. Are you guys in favor of this?
Well, I'll say something. I went back and forth. I thought about this, and maybe it's because football season is approaching, and all of the hype in terms of sports is all about football. But I was thinking about the rivalries in sports, and there really are no great division rivalries. Like, there's some, maybe the Pistons and the Bulls, but it's not on the level of football division rivalries. It's just not. If you think about it, most of the basketball rivalries, like, say the Lakers Celtics is probably the biggest rivalry, and they barely play each other. But so to me, it doesn't really bother me. But at this point, what's the point of even having divisions? Just get rid of the whole divisions and let's just go. Best teams make the playoffs. It is what it is. But I don't have as much of a problem as this. Like, if they did this in the NFL, I definitely would have a problem, because divisions mean something in the NFL.
Right.
I know most people who are huge basketball fans, and they couldn't even tell you who's in what division anyway.
Yeah, I need there to be a wild card.
Still having the divisions, I guess that's the only solace that some teams could actually get. You know, that's the only banner that you might be able to hang up after that year, division champions. So I don't mind the fact that they're actually keeping them, but I'm still 100% good with top 8 records make the playoffs. So if you're in the worst division in basketball and you happen to win that division, and by some chance nobody in your division gets in, cool, hang your banner. You won that division. But if you're prideless enough to do that with not making the playoffs, I'm good with that. But like I said, I 100% support the fact that they're taking the top 8 seeds, because the basketball playoffs has gotten quite ridiculous in the past few years with the teams who have been able to not only make the playoffs, but particularly the seeds that they get because of this thing right here. There's some pundits out there who want this to be taken even further. Like, they just want the top 16 teams in the league, no matter what conference, to make the playoffs somehow.
Let's go.
So the playoffs will be, all people who actually deserve to be there. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it in the last few years. We've even seen it with our hometown team, Philadelphia 76ers. They make the playoffs with a below 500 record, get an 8th seed. Even lucked up that year when Derrick Rose got hurt and advanced, one game away from, made a Game 7 in the semifinals against the Celtics, one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think all that did for that franchise at that time was give them hope, make them, it prevented them from making moves that should have been made, because
it set them back, basically.
This season of it gave them false hope in thinking, we might be one step away. We were one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, when that was not the case. Things just played out in the easiest way possible. And, they made that little mini run, but it's difficult to watch sometimes when you see the caliber of teams that are getting in the playoffs, especially in the East. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but I understand the argument. I don't know if I'm ready for them to scrap the conference. Divisions are cool. I don't know if I'm ready for them to scrap the conference, but I do see the argument in that.
Thank you for calling the War Room. You're in the War Room, caller. What's your name?
Yo.
You all right, B. Austin? You running two shows at once or something, man? Anyway, man, but we do got a call on the line. We got the homie Tobias. We got the homie Tobias on the line. He's on the line on our show, the War Room, not the B. Austin show that's going on the side right now somewhere. B. Austin got a show going on right now on videos, but Tobias, you in the War Room, good brother. What's going on?
Man, B. Austin over there moonlight, man.
Yo, that brother is talented. I'm telling you.
He on Battlefield Sports, ain't he? I don't know, but here's the thing. First things first, the demise of the SEC has been greatly exaggerated. But also, my Alabama cousin Todd, I still believe Jacob Coker has too much of the deer in the headlights look for my liking, but he didn't F it up. That's all I asked for. But what I looked for my team was how tough they were. Because you knew Wisconsin was going to run at them. And they stood up and they played tough. Still ain't got a kicker, but they played tough on D. And they were more physical, they athletic, they faster. But I want to say this about the ESPN pundits out there. I know Ohio State is great. I'm mad that I lost out on Virginia Tech plus 14 because the quarterback got hurt, and somehow Frank Beamer only had one quarterback on the team that could throw a forward pass. But anyway, I'm going to get off and lose my money. But Ohio State's not unbeatable. Maybe in the Big Ten, but once they have to get in that playoffs and play 2 straight games against a top 4 opponent who is gunning for you now. They believe Cardell is great now. They going to hear all year during this playoff, the 30-day lead up, how great you are, how unbeatable you are. The same thing that happened in USC when Vince Young beat them. The same thing that happened to Florida when they beat Alabama the year before. Alabama beat them 34-13 the next year. These things happen. And I'm saying, just because the Big Ten sucks doesn't mean this team has become the 2001 Miami Hurricanes all of a sudden, or the 95 Cornhuskers.
Yeah, I mean, good point. But I mean, you got to look at that performance. Any way you want to look at it was still a great performance. You know what I mean? Especially with all the pressure and opening night and the whole quarterback controversy. It still was a great performance. But like I said, we'll see what happens long term. I somewhat agree with you that things change when you get into that playoff format. But, I mean, at that point, they may be ready for it. You just never know. I mean, it's a long season, but that definitely you still have to be impressed with that.
Yeah, I was. And the thing was, let's be honest, Virginia Tech hasn't been a national power since Michael Vick left campus. Like true national title contender. Let's just be honest here.
You don't think Marcus Vick was nice or no?
Well, Marcus Vick was getting his Jared on. That's what I heard. Messing with teenage girls at the Burger King. You remember that story, don't you?
Man. Stop snitching.
Hey, that story was out. That story was out, man. But here's the thing, though. We have to understand Virginia Tech's been offensively bankrupt since Barack Obama first took office. Yeah, let's just be honest here. But at the same time, there was a good hostile environment and everything. And so I believe it's a great team. And I believe if Oregon smokes Michigan State this weekend, where's that signature win going to come from? Because Virginia Tech's not going to be top 25 this year. The quarterback's gone. You saw that backup. That dude, man, we got youth league players throw a ball better than him. But that's something I want to touch on real quick. I heard you guys talking about LeBron.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Say this. Odell Beckham was a first-round fantasy wideout talent. Too bad he took a waiver wire girlfriend. But anyway,
Gunshot them.
I mean, but let me ask you a question.
Shout out to Amber Rose.
Yo, you throwing shots. Let me ask you a question though. If Amber offered you that moisture, what would you do?
Gunshot them.
Don't get me wrong. I have fun, but I will not be trying to spend all my good bread on that because I'm rich. I don't pursue everybody's stuff. Everybody touched on the potluck. I want my own that choose me because I'm the rich guy.
I mean, but that's also a Hollywood relationship. Like saying they're together really doesn't mean anything. Like that could mean they were together for that night. You know what I mean? Like. It is.
We'll see what happens. We'll see how he puts a little whiz around in the stroller. Right, but this is one thing I want to touch on though, real quick.
Yo, Amber, add me.
Damn.
Hey, but this one thing I want to touch on because you guys are talking about like the racial component of Michael Vick and everything. And the thing is that as a guy who served in the military, he was at Leavenworth. That's one of the toughest prisons in the country. That prison is where you make big rocks into small rocks, pretty much. You ain't doing nothing. And
like
this guy, he lost his prime. He lost millions of dollars. That shoe that was coming out was his hottest shoe ever. Lost all of that. And people are still mad at him about dogs. Those same people who be supposedly dog right activists are probably more mad about dogs than they are about young black kids being killed in the street unarmed. Let's just call it what it is. And let's just be honest about that. Because those same people, remember 12-year-old Tamir Rice got shot. They probably was like, he shouldn't have done this. But you mean to tell me a dog has more rights than a human being? I'm not condoning what he did. The man served his time like almost about 10 years ago now, isn't it? And y'all still mad?
But listen though. To play devil's advocate, they have the right to be mad. I just don't try to block. I say just don't try to block his money. You can hate him for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? But what I think about when I see this situation though, Tobias, let's be honest here. I hope that nobody comes after him and does anything close to what he did because he basically has been up on the cross for all you athletes who are in the dog fighting or want to participate in dog fighting or breeding. I would stay so far away from that because we can't even really calculate the amount of income he lost because of what happened. Because we just don't even know what would have came his way had he not done that nonsense. But you know, and I definitely agree with you that you know, the lives of children should matter more. Although when I watch World Star, I sometimes question that. I think that some dogs should be never mind. But
Sharkeisha, no.
The bottom line.
Hey, Tobias, before we get you out of here, man, give a Super Bowl pick real quick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, don't worry. Tampa Bay's going 4-12 behind that Swiss cheese offensive line. We'll see Jameis on a Bengay commercial. But anyway, I believe it will be Seattle unless Future come after Russell Wilson. Let's hope Future leaves him alone. And let's say, and I believe they will eat. Honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb here. If they get home field advantage, I'm going to go with the Colts.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Fred.
So Seattle and the Colts, and who's your winner?
Yeah, I think Seattle wins, and Mr. Sierra is going to be the MVP because that's what they want to be MVP before. Because they don't want who win the MVP. But anyway, hey, you guys have a good one, man.
All right, man. Thank you. You know we appreciate it as usual.
All right, appreciate it. Peace,
Mr. Sierra. All right, so real quick before we start giving our picks and predictions for the NFL season, Spygate was back in the news this week because of, the whole turning over of Tom Brady's punishment, the overturning of that punishment by the judge in Deflategate. So Spygate has come back into the focus a little bit, and a lot of details about it are being leaked now. Remember when Roger Goodell went publicly and said that there were about 6 tapes altogether in Spygate. Now a leak has come out and say that in actuality it was about 40 tapes, and they were doing that much longer than people thought they were because the NFL basically tried to cover it up for them then. Does this look like a case of, all right, the NFL has been embarrassed lately, not only by the Patriots, by some other situations. So now that the Patriots are getting away with something else, per se, everything's leaking all of a sudden about what really went down with Spygate. Does it sound like they're trying to play a trump card that they destroyed themselves? Like, how are you going to try to throw your trump card when you were instrumental in destroying that trump card, stomping out the
involved here? Ego is involved here. I think that Robert Kraft, Goodell, the Hoodie, and Brady had the meeting, and when they had the meeting, it got a little out of hand. Brady, being the golden boy that he is, and the alpha male, he was like, "No, I'm not going down. I'm not sitting at all." And in so doing, he kind of rocked the boat. And so Goodell said, "Oh, you act like I'm not a $40 million a year man. You want a trip? Robert Kraft, you can't control your boy? Here, let me drop all of these." Because at the end of the day, 6 tapes or 40 tapes, the fans are all going to buy the NFL product, and you're just one franchise. So here it is. You diamond. You letting it go.
Yeah. There's been question this week about whether or not Goodell will still be the commissioner at the beginning of next season. Do you guys think his job is in jeopardy because of this whole thing and what the league went through last year with his image? Do you guys think it's in jeopardy?
I don't. I mean, because at the end of the day, they're still making money hand over fist. Like, he's been very successful from a financial standpoint with this league. Things have gotten out of control with the image problem, but we still live in America, man. And the whole thing with all these things leaking and the NFL holding their thing, my biggest problem with this is this, right? You got the championships. They're not taking them away. It just bothers me that the Patriots and their fans try to still hold on to this image of being, like, clean-cut good guys. This is like, I hate the Raiders and everything they stand for.
Listen, Jimmy,
I think
to
they're
your point, real quick, they're real true Patriots. This is how Americans have won.
Yeah. You don't want me to start going in on that, but what I'm saying is I hate everything about the Raiders, what they stand for. But the one thing, this was Al Davis. He was just like, yo, This is who we are. Like, just embrace it. Embrace the fact that you guys have done whatever it takes to win. Because at the end of the day, I wish my team did this. Like, you're going above and beyond trying to win these games. And football is a very, very ultra competitive sport. Everybody's looking for the advantage. But these guys seem like they were just on some like corporate espionage. They were doing whatever they could to win these games, and you got caught. And now it came out. Now, obviously, it came out later once you went through the whole thing with Brady, yada yada yada. But just embrace it, man. Embrace it. And that would have been the greatest thing to me if they just embraced this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, it's I don't know. I didn't get to finish that piece from ESPN the magazine, but it was getting interested as I was reading it, so I'll finish reading that.
By the way,
not tonight.
KCMac38 on Twitter, he says Goodell made over $40 million alone just last year, so his golden parachute is set.
Oh yeah, I mean, whether or not he was commissioner, that doesn't affect his life personally. But it's one of those things. Everybody piles on Goodell. There's some things that it's definitely his fault, but there's a lot of things that he's just going to take the blame for no matter what. And this Patriots situation was definitely handled the wrong way, because back in 2008. The NFL did everything that they could to protect its golden franchise. And now it seems like the way they tried to punish the Patriots and Tom Brady for Deflategate, it was basically they were getting a mulligan because so many owners, fans, and whoever else were upset that the Patriots got this favoritism, this treatment. So now he tried to send a message, and it kind of backfired with the judge, overturning the punishment, and Kraft saying things publicly that Goodell is probably surprised that Kraft is saying, because you guys remember me saying, like, I don't think they ever cared whether or not Tom Brady was going to do the suspension. I think they just wanted to keep up appearances that they weren't showing him favoritism. Like, we can punish him just like we can punish the 53rd man on your team. So I don't think they ever cared. I just think it's the arrogant stance that the Patriots took after it was all over, and that probably wasn't a part of their deal. So now they tried to throw the trump card and bring up some stuff and leak some stuff about Spygate. So, yeah, he handled some things in the wrong way. But like Jimmy said, as much money as he's making for those owners, I don't think, unless some real huge image catastrophe came down the pike, I don't think Goodell is going anywhere. But that's just my opinion.
At all.
All right, man. Yeah, he's too valuable to the whole thing. But look, before we get into this NFL wrap, man, you guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com to call in and speak with us about your Super Bowl picks and any crazy thoughts you have for the upcoming NFL season. I'm talking about, I want to hear some wacky predictions, something that nobody else has thought of. What's going to happen this season? Call in and talk to us. The Digital Extreme Technologies hotline is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. So while we waiting you guys to call in with your Super Bowl predictions and your off-the-wall predictions for anything that's going to happen with any team, any conference, any division during the season, we're going to do our picks and predictions while we wait on you guys to call in with that. So, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Brought to you guys by who?
The NFL Wrap is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Go to our site, which is warroomsports.com. Click on that Fanatics logo. It's on our main page as well as our sponsors page. And get you some NFL jerseys. The season's about to start. Step your jersey game up. You know what I'm saying? So go right to Fanatics, and you can do that. And go right from our website, warroomsports.com, and click on that logo. Gentlemen, it's time to jump right into this football talk. I'll get everything started because we have a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of we're going to literally although not one game has been played yet, we're going to give our predictions for Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, and our division winners from every division. So, gentlemen, let's jump into it. But I do want to say before I give you all of my picks that Dev, what did you say you wanted? You wanted some like wild, crazy picks?
Yeah, if anybody has any, wild predictions, just off the wall, something that may happen this season or something we need to watch for that nobody was thinking about.
Here's my off the wall pick. I think that Sierra by the end of the season will be pregnant, but it'll be Marshawn Lynch's baby. Anyway, with that being said, let's jump right into it. My Coach of the Year. Special shout out to Zimmer from Minnesota. I'm going with the upset. That nobody will pick because sometimes when you make predictions before any game, you like to draw just in case you're right. You like a genius. And me drawing is saying Jeff Fisher for Coach of the Year. I think that the Rams will have an amazing season. The Gurley man will come back in the middle of the season and be productive. The defense was already becoming better every season. And shout out to Jeff Fisher. And that's a tough division. That division literally went from ish to sugar because the Cardinals should be tough. The Niners should be tough. I know that Phil lost their whole roster. But Seattle should also be tough. That's a tough division right there. But anyway, Comeback Player of the Year. I had two guys. I want to give a special shout out to Sam Bradford, but no, son, because you'd probably be injured within like week 3. So I'm going with Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson has a lot to prove. He has a quarterback who lit it up last year. Shout out to Fred Purdue for that one. But so I got Adrian Peterson as Comeback Player of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year, and notice it's not a homer pick. I'm saying Shane Ray, and the only reason I'm saying Shane Ray is because with Von Miller there as well as DeMarcus Ware, you can't double everybody. He's going to be free to roam and make a lot of tackles and make a lot of plays in that defense. Our defense has been improved. So with our defense being improved and our running game being improved, I think the type of team that we are will change, and he'll have a lot of opportunities. So I definitely want to say that Shane Ray is my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, shout out to Nelson Aguilar. I think you're going to put up a lot of numbers because you're playing that arcade of an offense. But I don't even want to say this, man, because he's a Raider. But I think that Cooper is that talented that I'm willing to pick him, although he plays for the Raiders. So Amari Cooper, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He is definitely special.
Defensive Player of the Year, I don't have a lot of talk about that, is J.J. Watt. He's not from here. He's from Krypton. So he's definitely a Defensive Player of the Year as long as he wants to be, like Dev said. And until he's ready to say, no, I don't want to do that no more, he's a Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going a little different here. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers as the Offensive Player of the Year. In the MVP, I'm going with Andrew Luck. I think these two guys will be the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to split these awards one way or the other. Give Rodgers one and give Luck another one. But I think both guys will be productive. We know this is the last happy league, and we know that Aaron Rodgers is very marketable. I can't see Andrew Luck getting the same amount of commercials because like he talks like Donald Duck and whatnot. But
that's what I was asking you about before, Jim. I remember we were talking about it before. I was like, I know they do that kind of stuff, but with two quarterbacks, I don't know how they differentiate between the seasons they had. Usually, if they give the Offensive Player of the Year to a running back, and maybe give the MVP quarterback, and we're still
I know, but I think they're going to draw.
One of them was that good.
There's no rhyme or reason why they're doing this stuff.
There's a way to try to justify it, and I've tried in my mind. I mean, you could have one quarterback who just lit it up numbers-wise, and that could be your Offensive Player of the Year, but maybe the team didn't have a great record. Your MVP may have his numbers may not have been what the other quarterback's numbers were, but his impact on the game, which is, we really can't. We can't make that tangible, but
some of the picks they make, is no rhyme or reason behind it. So some of the picks they make is no rhyme or reason behind them anyway. So, but I just think they'll try to find a way to celebrate both gentlemen. So they're going to draw. But those are my picks in terms of season awards. I'll wait to give my division picks while you gentlemen can go ahead and give your season award picks.
All right. For the Coach of the Year, I guess I have to preface this just like I did on Field Vision. If anybody knows me, they know when I'm in analyst mode, I don't do the homer thing. You know, I'm totally honest and objective in what I do. I take it seriously. As a matter of fact, your boy B. Austin and myself just got kicked out of a Philadelphia Eagles Facebook group because, you know, our opinions aren't always in line with everybody else. So we don't bring constant cheer to our fellow brethren and Eagles fans. So with that being said, Coach of the Year, I think Chip Kelly has a lot to prove. And I think the Eagles in the regular season will do pretty well this year. All the personnel moves that he made in the offseason, you know, were questioned. And, you know, as it went on, a lot of the moves were head scratchers. But I think at the end of the day, you know, the mold that he was trying to put out there actually became something that was recognizable. It looks like a pretty good team. The only flaws I see when we put the big picture of all of
Sam Bradford's
together. No, not just Sam Bradford. I think a lot of the people that he added to the team are considered quote unquote injury prone players. You have Sam Bradford, who's probably the biggest one of all, who just came off back-to-back ACL surgeries. You have DeMarco Murray, who played his first full NFL season last year, and he even broke his hand then. But he was in a contract year, and he was going for 2,000 yards, so he didn't sit out. If that's not a contract year and he's just having a normal season, I guarantee you he misses a few games last year. He got his money now, so if he breaks his pinky finger right now, he's going to sit out. Ryan Matthews, his backup, has a history of injuries. For anything from hamstrings to whatever. He missed time every season in San Diego. Kiko Alonso, who they traded Shady McCoy for, he's coming off of an ACL. So you get my point. He made a lot of moves. He got a lot of good names, but he has a lot to prove because he gave up a lot of fan favorites and a lot of productive Pro Bowl caliber players to put his kind of team together with a bunch of guys who are injured. But I think if they stay healthy, which is the criteria for everything, we spoke about that on Field Vision as well, I think they can have a really good season, and Chip Kelly could prove a lot of doubters wrong because he has a lot of doubters within the Philadelphia Eagles community. There's a lot of people who didn't like the moves that he made. So he has a chance to shut everybody up, and I think with barring health, he will. Comeback Player of the Year, Sam Bradford falls into this mix as well, and I think in Chip Kelly's offense, he has the opportunity to put up big numbers and run away with this award. However, I won't believe that Sam Bradford will stay healthy until I see it. So I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson. It's more of a sure shot to me. He's not coming off an injury, just, you know, a year with the suspension and, you know, all the drama that went on last year. The last time this man missed a season, he came back and damn near set the record for rushing in a season. So I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson, but watch out for Sam Bradford in this category. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Vic Beasley for the Atlanta Falcons. Offensive Rookie of the Year, like Jimmy said, I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. The kid is special. We all know he's special. We just have to wait till Sunday for him to start proving to the world how special he really is. Defensive Player of the Year, J.J. Watt, until he dies. Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Andrew Luck in this category. I think he's going to have a huge year. MVP of the league, I'm going to go with Andrew Luck as well because I think the Colts are going to make some major noise, and Andrew Luck is going to be the catalyst behind it. So I'll give him both of those awards. As Jimmy said, I'll be back with my season picks, my team picks. B. Austin, who you got in your awards predictions?
Here I am, yes. So for Coach of the Year.
Oh, B, take
yeah.
Hold on. Take a time out. I mean, because if that's what you want, that's what you got. Huh?
There he is. That Thank you, brother. Jet flying, limo riding, girl picking up. Oh, I'm sorry. Coach of the year, Mike Zimmer. Shout out to Chuck Pagano. And unfortunately, sir, I forgot to let you know that Fred of Heavy in the Game, our college correspondent, gave me his picks. So his coach of the year will be none other than Bill Belichick. For comeback player of the year, I want to say Bradford as well, because I think Bradford is going to have a hell of a year. So I'll say this with a caveat. If Sam Bradford is able to stay healthy through 14 games of this year, I think he will win it.
Playing that fence.
If not, Adrian Peterson is going to get that, because we know what Adrian Peterson does after time off. And for Fred's comeback player of the year, Gronkowski. Defensive rookie of the year. Defensive rookie of the year is going to be Leonard Williams, the big cat. Shout out to Vic Beasley. Shout out to Ronald Darby. I think those two gentlemen are going to light it up. Vic Beasley going to have like 99 sacks per game. But I think Leonard Williams is going to be that. I don't have whoever the Patriots rookie is who Fred picked as the rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Offensive rookie of the year, salute and shout out to Amari Cooper. I'm already a fan. He is already top 5 route runner in the league. Yeah, you heard it here first. Prisoner of the moment. I saw him run routes. He's a technician. You shouldn't be able to run that route at those type of routes at that age. You can't be that fast and run routes like that, or you're Marvin Harrison.
We got Skyview in the chat room, man. We giving the Raiders too much props, or a Raider player.
I can't give him rookie of the year because while I do think Derek Carr is going to have a good career, in his second year, I don't think he's going to be able to get Amari Cooper the ball the same way that a healthy Sam Bradford is going to get Nelson Aguilar the ball or the opportunities at Nelson. So I'm going with Nelson Aguilar. Shout out also to famous Jameis Winston in your pursuit of getting enough yardage and enough success to actually get Dre and Michelle to date you. You got hope, son. Defensive player of the year. J.J. Watt. Shout out to Earl Thomas. I think we'll get some votes. But, we're going J.J. Watt. Fred also wanted me to say that he believes his defensive player of the year will be Donta Hightower. That's who he picked as his defensive player of the year.
Malcolm Butler.
Or Malcolm Butler. Yeah, one of the two. Offensive player of the year, Big Benjamin Roethlisberger. That's who I'm going with. Shout out to Adrian Peterson. I think you'll get a lot of votes in this. I changed it up, fellas, from Field Vision. Originally, I gave Peterson that award. I want to say I think Big Ben is in for a monster year. I think a monster year is headed his way. Offensive player of the year. Now, MVP. I'm sorry. Offensive player of the year for Fred. Fred's picked Brandon Bolden as offensive player of the year for his selection. MVP, Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, folks. It's his year. He's focused. I see it for him. Fred wanted to say that it'll be Brady winning MVP. And so those are my selections. Now we're on to the division winners.
We got some stuff going on in the chat room.
Yeah, I was going to read that out.
We got another homer pick in the chat room. We got the homie Phil from Tissue and the Tape said comeback player of the year is going to be Navarro Bowman. Skyview says that the offensive player of the year is going to be Jimmy Graham. And we got a couple more.
Yo, Jimmy Graham? Like, really? Anyway, comeback player of the year from Skyview. He also says Sam Bradford. He has Jack Del Rio for coach of the year. He says Adamaka Sue, defensive player of the year.
Jimmy, the reason that Graham is a legit pick is guys that only throw the ball 17 times a game tend to throw to their tight end a lot because they can't throw it down the field outside.
Dog, I
don't think Jimmy Graham is going to produce like he did in with Brees.
Yo, even if he did, he wouldn't win Offensive Player of the Year. Like, yo, I can confidently say without even looking it up that a tight end has never won Offensive Player of the Year. Like, yo, and I can say that with confidence, and I really have no clue. Anyway, let's get to the division winners. In the AFC West, I have my Denver Broncos. Although I don't think it'll be as easy as it's been in recent history, I think the Chiefs will give us a run for the money, and also the Chargers will be right there. The Raiders are still the Raiders, but the Chiefs and Chargers will be ready to ball this year. I have the Colts winning their division with the Texans giving them a little run for the money, but overall I still have the Colts winning. The Patriots, Miami has improved, but I still think the Patriots are the class of that division, and if they struggle, they'll find a way to cheat. This one might be one for me because I think that Pittsburgh's offense is going to be like off the Yeltsin bar, to quote my man Nori from State Property too. But I think the Pittsburgh, uncharacteristic of a Steelers team's defense, will struggle a little bit. Like, how did Pittsburgh become an offensive team? That's like blasphemous. But the Ravens winning that division, I think they're a well-rounded team, offense, defense, and special teams. But them and Pittsburgh will battle for that division. But I'm going with the Ravens. My wild card teams will be the Chiefs as well as the Miami Dolphins. That's right, Chiefs and Dolphins. In the NFC, I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning their division. Sanchez will lead them to a division win. I have the Seattle Seahawks winning their division, although that will probably be, as I said earlier, the toughest division in football. I have the Packers walking away with their division, and I'm picking the Saints this year. The Saints sunk it up last year, but the Falcons, I will never bet on the Falcons again. The Falcons can go 6 this year, and I'll pick and lose every game next year. So I'll never bet on the Falcons. The Panthers, the injuries and everything, they ain't ready. My wild card teams are the Dallas Cowboys, and my sleeper, like this is my sleeper pick. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying they so sleep, it's like Cosby gave him something. I'm taking the St. Louis Rams as my sleeper pick to somehow sneak into the wild card. Once the playoffs start, in the championship game, I have the Colts and the Ravens playing in the AFC Championship. Then I have the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers playing in the NFC Championship. In my Super Bowl, I have Seattle versus the Colts. And, I was going to change my pick because I actually forgot about the Sierra factor. But he hasn't got the draws yet. He hasn't GTD. So with that being said, I'm taking the Seahawks to win the actual Super Bowl, with the caveat that if he gets the draws or gets married somehow during the season, then I'm picking the Colts to win. But I got the Seahawks beating the Colts in the Super Bowl because we all know Sierra is cursed. Anyone who's ever gotten that box, their career has went downhill. So as long as Russell doesn't touch that, I got the Seahawks winning the Bowl.
Yo, the homerness is killing me right now, Jim. Leroy, Casey Mack is in the chat room. He said the Chiefs and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Casey Mack, dope or dog food. In the words of Big Daddy King, dope or dog food, man. Which one is it, man?
The Chiefs and the boys. See, that's the thing. It's like they're both probably pretty good. They're going to be pretty good teams this year. So it's like, as soon as they get pretty good, he's like, I'm picking both of them.
Hey, Leroy. For those who don't know, I think Leroy is from Kansas City, but he lives in Texas.
Yeah, he roots for two.
That nullifies that pick right there. You got to kill Leroy. Well, let me ask you a question, Leroy, and you can put this in the chat room. If that actually happens, if KC plays Dallas in a bowl, who are you rooting for?
Bowl. He wants to see a tie. Division winner.
Yo, Chuck, it must be on the pipe, right?
AFC East, I have the Dolphins. Yes, the Dolphins. AFC North, the Steelers. AFC South, the Colts. The wild card will be the Broncos and Patriots. They will be your wild card teams. NFC East, the Eagles will come out of the East. The Vikings will come out of the North. The Saints will come out of the South. And in the West, Sierra's boyfriend, will captain the Seahawks to the head of that division. However, in that division, I think you're going to have a dog fight. So my wild card teams are from the NFC West. I got the Cardinals and the Rams. So 3 teams from that division will make it.
And
my
West domination.
Yeah, and my chip, they're that good. My chip game, the AFC chip game, the Broncos will come out of the wild card round and make it to play the Colts. And Luck will win out over Peyton, Colts to the Super Bowl. In the East, I think that video game offense that Chip Kelly has running side to side to get 10 yards, side to side, side to side, side to side, with a pretty good defense, and the pace that they play with will get them to the NFC Championship game, where they will play some grown-ass men. Beast Mode will eat some Skittles. Their quarterback will be feeling, Sierra's boyfriend will be feeling extra vital, and they will smack the Eagles around and end up making it to the Super Bowl. So I have the same Super Bowl as Jimmy. The Seattle Seahawks versus the Indianapolis Colts. And I have the Colts winning out. It's Andrew Luck's year. It's Andrew Luck's year because he's able to throw the ball more than 17 times a game, and he earns his money. So that's the Super Bowl. That's it.
All right, and before I do my picks, we got some calls on the line. We got the homie Phil Maddock from Tissue and the Tape podcast on the line. Phil, what's going on, bro?
What's good, yo?
You already know.
Not much, man. I know you want to give some of these predictions. I saw you NaVorro Bowman comeback player of the year pick.
Oh man, ask Jimmy about NaVorro Bowman, man.
He's nice. Listen, I know he's nice, but you got Adrian Peterson in the category.
No, he's dumb nice, but Adrian Peterson is like, yo, they want to give it to him.
I don't. Does that technically?
They want to make up. They want to make up for him missing a season.
Yeah, they want to make up because they knew they ruined. They knew they effed him over because like if not for the way they handled the Ray Rice situation, there's no way AP would have went through what he went through. So here comes his makeup comeback player of the year. He'll be the first player in history to get comeback player of the year twice. That's possible too.
I think he's gonna be offensive player of the year.
It's possible.
I think Andrew Luck is gonna be the MVP. I think Luke Kuechly will be the defensive player of the year. He's gonna have a monster season. He just got paid. Carolina don't have nothing else to do. He's gonna be on defense all day long.
Good pick.
Yeah, he just got paid as well as the defensive lineman from the Buffalo Bills just got his aid.
Yeah, man. Amari Cooper, yo, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid all the way, yo. Dude is serious. I know you said you don't think they're gonna get him the ball. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, the black kind. I love it, yo.
I think they're gonna force him the ball. I think they're gonna force him the ball.
I believe
really think
he is that ball. He is that nice, but Derek Carr, I think he's got a great career ahead of him. But in his second year, I didn't see anything last year that maybe
the Raiders threw the ball. The Raiders threw the ball.
He lit it up a little bit
as much as anybody. I think with no receivers last year. So I think they're gonna do things. I think them two are gonna do things, put up numbers. I don't see it translating into wins, but as far as everything though, man, I'm just hyped for the season. I do think the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. I think I see them playing somebody different though. I think the Packers are going to finish their breakfast from last year and do it even without white chocolate Jordy Nelson. I think they still gonna get to the bowl. Where
I forgot about that, man. Luck. I forgot how they were supposed to win that game. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they were definitely supposed to win that game. But it is what it is. As far as the actual playoffs, man, I don't see the Cardinals doing anything like what they did last year. You know, their quarterback is like Sam Bradford Sr., so, you know, he's Carson Palmer. I can't see him even standing upright.
He gets injured a little bit, but Carson nice when he upright.
Oh, yeah, he is, but I just don't see him even making it all the way through. Rams, however, they they are going to be a problem. I see them as one of the wild cards. I think Dallas is going to be the other wild card. I think the Birds are actually going to do what they're supposed to do. I have them in the NFC Championship game against the Packers. In an amazing upset against the Seahawks. I have them beating the Seahawks, actually. So to get to the NFC Championship game. And now that's all pending on if Ace Bandage can, if he can make it through the season. But if that happens, but I don't think the Patriots are going to be as high profile as everybody think they're going to be. I think the Steelers
you
are going
don't
to be
believe in the legend of
no. Teflon Tom is going to ball, but I think on defense, I think they just lost too much, and it's going to show. He's going to win them games that they shouldn't win, but the defense is ultimately going to be their downfall. The lack of losing the corners and losing Vince Wilfork, they don't really realize how much they lost by losing Wilfork.
Vince Wilfork are about compete. You got to compete.
Yes, I think the Texans are going to still be the Texans. They're going to be 9-7, because the quarterback just not no quarterback. But I'm really liking the Steelers. I believe if they even had a lick of, if they had one more player on defense, like if Shamarko Thomas can step up, I think he can he'll be just enough to get them, deep into the playoffs. Because the offense is I think they're gonna put a Will Smith number.
I think they overrated Shamarko just because of his name.
I don't know if he can be what they think he's going to be, but if he is, they're going to be all right. Because they're going to score points. They won't stop anybody from scoring points is their problem. So all in all, I still like the Colts winning out. My guy Frank Gore finally gets his ring and further seals his gold jacketness for Kansas. So he's going to – because here's a little fun fact, and I'll leave y'all on this. Andrew Luck has never played an NFL game with a 100-yard rusher.
Damn!
So –
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, the Colts as a team have ran for 100 yards, but not one single person has ran for 100 yards.
Not Donald Brown.
He's been
he needs Gore in the worst way. He needs Gore to step up in the worst way.
Yo, Gore is the best slow running back in the league.
Oh, he might be the best slow running back, in like the last 20, 30 years, because he's definitely not fast. It's slow running back, not Yeah, I know. Be easy. But the thing is, it's so many. They're gonna have to. And then the other fun fact, Frank Gore faced the second most 8-man fronts in the league last year. So
damn.
He's not going to see 8-man fronts. Yeah, no. Why? I mean, come on. I'm a realist, but he's not going to see 8-man fronts playing in that offense, or not too much anyway.
Not possible.
Almost.
Yeah.
So and then a sleeper for Rookie of the Year in the AFC, Offensive Rookie of the Year. My guy Philip Dorsett. You know where he's from. I don't have to say it.
Oh God.
But yeah, it's true. Don't worry about it.
He might. I was about to take a flyer on him on my fantasy team, but I think somebody snatched him up. I let him rock too long.
He's going to eat just off the sheer fact that,
he runs real fast. He runs real fast.
But he's going to ball out. But I think the Colts, they're going to overcome their defensive woes, and they're going to do enough to win the chip.
Okay.
And as far as my boys, man, 6-10, realistically.
Put a fork in them.
Phil, the Niners had the most unfortunate offseason I've seen from anybody
ever.
In a long time.
I think
hell
ever. At least since I've been watching football. I've been watching football since 1984.
And then you still got that light-skinned black dude at quarterback that can't quarterback.
Stop, man. Stop.
He killing your boy.
He'll play all 16 games though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's stay up, right. Can't
All right,
but
so
no,
that's what's up.
Yeah, man.
That's
Peace to y'all, man. Keep doing y'all thing.
Of course.
No doubt. Everybody check
War Room
fill out
Sports Podcast
on
Network.
Yes, sir. The Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop
No doubt.
Podcast.
Greatest hip hop show and the hip hop shows ever anywhere in the universe.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, brother. Say right back at y'all. Best sports
All right,
show
now.
on earth. Period.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bro.
Hey, yo,
We wrap to you.
before we go to our next call, B. Austin, you picked the Eagles to go to the NFC Championship.
Yes, sir.
Because you said you did that on Field Vision. You didn't do that on Field Vision, man.
Why the f*** you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God! Stop fucking lying.
Yeah, actually I did. I picked the Eagles.
No, actually you did. You did. Yo, he just went to the bowl. I
got the tape.
Seahawks bowl. Yo, he
we
just
got
skipped
the
whole
tape.
NFC
I'm gonna
Championship.
accept the apology next week.
No, you just skipped you skipped the whole NFC Championship. You was like Seahawks in the bowl. I'm like, damn, you skipped the whole NFC
Championship.
Championship.
I did. I ain't called the NFC chip game because I got it written down right here.
Yeah, you ain't even say that.
I got Eagles and Seahawks.
It's probably subliminal. He probably
don't believe that.
It's not. It was subconscious. He didn't even know he ain't say it. He just used to not giving the Eagles.
That's me. He really don't believe it.
Yo,
he used to not giving them any props.
I didn't want to go. I didn't want to pick it.
Because I still got to give my picks, man. So let's go. Hold up, B. Let's go to the DMV real quick. We got the homie John on the line.
Whoa,
John, what's going on, man?
Fell to the Deadskins. Fell on the warpath. Losing for old DC.
All right, man.
Pick.
Yeah.
He broke out the old song on you, man.
Put it this way, man. I'm looking forward to my fantasy football this year. I don't think I'm watching football this year, man.
You know what, man? I don't feel how I don't have that feel that the national media has right now. I mean, I've seen articles that had Washington ranked dead last, second in the league. I don't believe that. I don't think they're the worst team in the league. I don't know. I mean, I think they may surprise people, not surprise people like in the vein of going to the playoffs or winning the division or anything like that. But I don't think they're the worst team in the league, man. I don't see that. But
dude, there's so much dysfunction on that team right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Snyder needs to tell the team what he ain't.
Of course.
And it's just too much. I mean, if it's not RG3, it's the cousin haters. If it's not the cousin haters, then you got the GM with his side girl, the side chick. I don't know.
Got his wife tweeting. How many DJs you give to get this story? Yeah, it's crazy. But
it's horrible.
If he can get them,
I actually came over here to talk to you a little bit about my prediction for the year, and I think it's going to be Seattle.
Seattle, another Super Bowl win.
Seattle, yeah, man. I don't see them.
Who they going to play? Who in the AFC is going to get them?
Oh, the AFC. Y'all gonna probably look at me like, oh no, it's crazy, but I think it's gonna be Pittsburgh.
Hey, this is the NFL, man. It's never really crazy. It's never really crazy. I saw somebody pick the Buffalo Bills earlier today, so people are putting it out online. And Tom Brady just now ran onto the field, everybody, and the crowd is going wild.
Yeah, well, it's in New England.
Yeah.
The other thing
Jimmy
too,
Garoppolo, like, damn, this is supposed to be me.
Eli re-up this contract.
So who you got? Who's going to win the league MVP?
Oh, MVP for the year for what? Offensive or defensively?
No, just not the offensive player or the defensive player of the year, the MVP of the whole league.
Oh, the whole league this year? Wow.
You haven't thought about that yet?
I was going to say defensively, but defense never wins it all. I think it's going to be luck this year.
Really?
I think it's going to be luck. I hate to jump on the kid's back, but I mean, you just said it. They've never had a 100-yard rusher on the team by itself, and you think about it, that means that the quarterback is basically your offense there. So I think it's going to be luck. They gave him the tools.
He's been carrying them.
You know,
they
you got
were
Andre
2-14
Johnson helping
before
out.
the dude got there.
You got Frank Gore, who still got a year left to him. I think it's possible Luck can do it this year as MVP, and I wouldn't count. And I count on the Colts going all the way to the Super Bowl. Now, when they get there, if they get there, I still think Seattle's going to take them out.
Okay.
That's just my thoughts.
All right, that's what's up, man.
I've been wrong before, but you know.
Before you hang up, though, quick prediction, man. What's the record of your team going to be?
What team?
Washington's
My
record.
fantasy football team?
Give us Washington's record, man.
Oh,
6-10?
Lord. To be honest with you, I would be shocked if we won 5 games this year. So
All
I'm
right.
going to go with 4-12.
I give you one thing that's going to be fact, because you might be right with the wins and losses, but I guarantee you your offense is going to be a little bit more scary. See, Kirk Cousins moves the ball, but he still might make that mistake. He might make that mistake that loses the game. So y'all going to have a lot of good yardage, but it might translate to wins. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised.
We had a better offense under Kyle Shanahan. Okay, we were averaging 26, 27 points a game. But here's my thought on this. I think our GM Scott they're going to fire Gruden in a year, or probably before the year's over. Bill Callahan's there, and I think they're going to go ahead and get themselves a quarterback, and then just start over, start fresh.
All right, we'll see how the season goes, man. Happy football season to you. It's finally here.
Fail to the Deadskins.
Thanks for your call, John.
Hey, Dev, you got to give me a pitch before we get out of here.
Yeah.
But I just want to say real quick, whoever the DJ is at the Patriot Stadium, he's amazing. Boy, just put on Hate Me Now.
Oh, they out there. I see y'all. I see what the Patriots doing out there. All right, so this is my pick, man. I'm going to start out with the AFC. The AFC East, I do have the Patriots winning that division. This is probably the last hurrah, in my opinion, for the Patriots. They're going to win that division. In the North, I got the Steelers. In the South, I got the Colts. In the West, I got the Broncos. The AFC wild cards will be the Ravens and those Kansas City Chiefs. Over to the NFC. The NFC East, I got the Eagles winning that division. You guys know I don't pick them much. And I try not to get too excited over the preseason, but I think, like I said earlier, I think Chip Kelly has molded a pretty good team after some head-scratching decisions earlier in the season. He has the team that he wants. He has the style of team that he wants. The defense should be much improved, which was a big problem last season. It wasn't even just the defense. It was the secondary. The front seven is pretty good, and they should be pretty good again with a better secondary backing them up. They will get some resistance from the Cowboys and maybe even the Giants, man. Don't sleep on the Giants this year. The NFC South, as in Jimmy knows this. This goes back years for me. I don't trust Atlanta. But my trust for Atlanta, my lack of trust for Atlanta usually is in the playoffs. So I'm going to pick the Falcons to win that division. I picked the Saints last year because I rarely go against Drew Brees, and they straight embarrassed me last year. In the West, I got the Seahawks. In the NFC, the wild cards will be the Cardinals and the Cowboys. The AFC Championship game will be Ravens versus the Colts. The Ravens, straight from wild card to the AFC Championship. We all know when the Ravens get into the playoffs, they get clutch all of a sudden. Like, I don't doubt them when they get to the play. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Ravens make a run for another Super Bowl if they just get into the playoffs. But I have them at the Colts in the AFC Championship game. I have the Seahawks and the Packers. In the NFC Championship game, my Super Bowl will be the Packers versus the Colts in the battle of what may now be the two best quarterbacks in the league by the time this season is set and done. I already know Rodgers is there. But I think Andrew Luck and the Colts will have a huge year, and I have them winning the Super Bowl over the Packers. Super Bowl 50 goes to Andrew Luck and his dream season with the new weapons that he has, like we just talked about. You got Frank Gore in the backfield. You got Andre Johnson out there with T.Y. Hilton. You got Phillip Dorsett in the slot. the defense. They added some veteran presence to that defense. They should be a little better. You got Trent Cole over there. So I think it might – they have time because they have this kid on their team, but I think this is their best chance. I don't want to say now or never, but it might be now or you might have to try again later because they're going for it right now with the acquisitions of people like Gore and Johnson, et cetera. They're going for it right now, and I think they might get it. So those are my picks. Look, anything you guys, anything that we didn't speak on that's a big story right now. We didn't mention the numbers, but Kuechly just got paid. Darius just got paid from Buffalo. Cam Chancellor still not in the fold. Do you think how long you guys think this is going to be out?
Yeah, that's very interesting, man, because these are the little things that can literally change the season. You know what I mean? Like we're quick to give our picks, but all our picks are based upon not having injuries and all these little nagging issues that are there. But the problem with Seattle is they're trying to build a new age dynasty. And with these new age dynasties, when you have a little bit of success, everybody want to get paid, yo. Everybody wants to get paid.
They did pay a lot of people.
Yeah,
but you know what? I don't remember who it was, fellas, but we were talking to somebody. It may have been on the air. And when they gave Russell Wilson all that money, I said that it could affect cats like Cam Chancellor, and somebody quickly dismissed that. Like, no, he'll be quickly back in the fold,
Yeah,
but Russell Wilson isn't Tom Brady. He isn't that quarterback like, oh, we signed him. I'm along for the ride.
Yeah,
Cam Chancellor might be like, yo, some of that was my money.
Cam Chancellor is an interesting situation because he is very, very, very good at what he does, which is freelance. Cover tight ends, stand in the middle of the field at 15 yards, and knock people out on crossing routes. Very good. But the core of their defense is the two corners on the edges, and they play a base cover 3 or they play man. They play 3 or they play man, which really is man up on the outsides anyway, with Earl in the deep middle. I don't want to say that Cam is replaceable because he is one of the top 10 safeties, if not a top 7, top 5, close to top 5 safety in the league. But
definitely a top 10 athlete.
He plays a lot of freebie. And the feeling is that you can get another guy that can play freebie. You can't replace Earl Thomas. You can't replace Richard Sherman. But if you had to pick out of those two and then you add Cam Chancellor as the third, he's going to be the odd man out. He's going to be the odd man out because of his responsibility in that defense is the smallest. So
I think he'll get his deal B, but our trade rumors, and I heard our team up in the mix, so I kind of hope he doesn't get his deal and those rumors come true. But we'll see.
You can't. I understand the logic, but you can't replace Cam Chancellor. In the words of Jay-Z, Mel Carter, you're like, okay, so make another hole. Like his point is, like, it's just not that easy. It may seem easy in theory, but no.
Man, I noticed. I noticed.
As Dame Dash is easy, Jim.
I'm not. Yo, not disrespecting the safety position because Cam Chancellor definitely is not the hole for the safety position.
No, but hold on though. Shout out to Dame Dash because I actually saw his net worth on Celebrity Network. Now, again, I don't believe anything on that website.
I don't think hold the best.
But they straight got my man at negative $2 million net worth. Like, how do you even?
Patty. Why you being
there? And I'm in this business group right now, Jim, where somebody's calling me a crab in the barrel because they're sweating his advice on some video, and I was like, yo, I'm not taking any advice from dude. And I'm a crab in the barrel for that because I won't take advice from somebody who's worth -2 million. Even if I'm worth nothing, this dude is worth $2 million less than I am.
Yo, my net worth is far superior to Dame Dash, man. Anyway, it's time to roll, man. Thanks for joining us again. The World Good People. Shout out to those who hollered at us. Everybody, chat room, Facebook, Twitter. Those who called in, we definitely appreciate it. Those we didn't get to, we apologize. Special thanks to Fred Perdue for joining us this week. Talk college football. Next week, same time, same place, right back here. It'll be after the first week of the season, so you know it's going to be crazy. And you can also catch everything at WRS Podcast Network, our shows, as well as everybody else. Everybody's going to be talking about football. And we'll also be talking about what's going to happen going into week 2. So until then, enjoy your week. We'll see you right back here. Catch all of our conversations, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is at War Room Sports. All of our social media. Everything can be found at warroomsports.com. That is the bottom line because Jimmy said so. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on top.
6 to 8 they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. OneRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push 1 to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Doc Bay, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.